Have you ever found yourself sitting at the dinner table, listening to your grown son or daughter explain something to you like you're 5 years old? Maybe they interrupt you, talk over you, or even worse, make decisions for you without asking what you want. It's not that they mean harm. Most of the time, it comes from a place of love. But it sure doesn't feel that way, does it? You've lived through wars, raised a family, maybe even built a career from the ground up. You've handled heartbreak, taxes, and technology you never asked for. So being treated like you can't think straight or take care of yourself, that stings. And it's not just about pride. It's about dignity. It's about feeling seen and heard as the capable, thoughtful, and wise person you still are. That's why we're talking about this today. Because too many people over 60, 70, even 80 are quietly putting up with this dynamic, feeling like their role as a parent has flipped upside down. But here's the good news. You don't have to settle for it. There are ways to shift the tone of those relationships. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 simple, respectful ways to reclaim your role as an equal and be treated like the adult you've always been. Let's begin with the first one. And it starts right at home with your own voice. One of the most powerful things you can do is speak with intention. Now, that doesn't mean raising your voice or arguing. It means choosing your words carefully and saying them with calm confidence. Let me explain. When someone speaks to you in a condescending way, say, "Your daughter reminding you for the 3rd time how to use your phone," you can say something like, "I appreciate your help, but I'd like to figure this out on my own first." You're not picking a fight. You're just setting a boundary. And that matters. Often we stay quiet to keep the peace. But silence can sometimes send the wrong message. That we agree or that we don't mind being spoken to that way. You don't have to lecture or explain yourself. A simple, kind, and clear response goes a long way. You're teaching them, without scolding, how you want to be treated. And trust me, even if they don't change overnight, those words stick. The second way to regain respect? Stop downplaying your abilities. I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone say, "Oh, I'm just getting old," or "I probably wouldn't understand that." Think about that. If you keep saying those things, your kids start to believe them. And before long, they start talking to you like you can't handle things because you've unintentionally told them you can't. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. We all need it sometimes, no matter our age. But there's a big difference between needing help and acting helpless. When you try something new, whether it's learning how to video chat, handling your own medical appointments, or taking up a new hobby, own it. You're showing your adult children that you're still growing, still curious, still capable. And when you hit a wall or struggle a little, laugh about it. Don't make it a tragedy. Say, "Well, that didn't go as planned, but I'm learning." That kind of attitude isn't just good for your own self-respect. It changes how others see you, too. It shifts the dynamic from pity to admiration. And that's powerful. Now, let's talk about the third thing. And it's a bit more personal. It's about asserting your independence in small, everyday ways. You see, respect isn't built on big, dramatic gestures. It's built quietly in the choices you make each day. Maybe that means driving yourself to appointments when you're able, instead of always accepting a ride. Maybe it's planning your own vacation, setting your own schedule, or taking the lead on a family gathering. Even something as simple as saying, "No thanks, I've got it covered," when they offer to take care of something you're perfectly able to do, that sends a message. It tells them gently but firmly, "I'm still in charge of my own life." Of course, there will be times when accepting help makes sense. But when you do, try saying, "Thanks, I appreciate the support. But just so you know, I'm still making the decisions here." That little reminder can help keep the balance in check. These moments don't have to be confrontational. In fact, the less drama you bring to them, the more effective they are. You're not asking for permission to be an adult. You already are one. You're just reminding the people around you of something they may have forgotten. And sometimes, that's all it takes to start turning things around. There's something that happens quietly as we get older. People stop asking what we think. They assume we'll just go along with whatever's planned, that we're happy to sit back while they steer the ship. And little by little, it becomes easier to just go along with it, until one day you realize you haven't made a real decision in weeks, maybe months. That's where this next piece comes in. It's about making your opinions known and sticking to them. This isn't about being stubborn just for the sake of it. It's about honoring your own voice. Because if you don't speak up for what you want, no one's going to magically read your mind. Say your kids are planning a family vacation, and they've already decided on the location, the activities, even the meals, without really asking you. It's okay to say, "You know, I'd really prefer something a little more relaxed," or "That place is a bit too crowded for me. How about this instead?" Again, not confrontational, just confident, calm, clear. You're not trying to control everything. You're reminding them that you still have preferences, and those preferences matter. When your opinion is consistently heard, whether it's about holidays, health, or what time dinner is served, it shifts how they see you. You're not just dad or mom anymore. You're a person with agency, ideas, and a voice that deserves a seat at the table. Let me tell you, sometimes just hearing your own voice say, "No, I don't agree with that," or "I'd rather do this instead," can light a fire inside. A quiet fire. A strong one that says, "I'm still here." Now, I want to talk about something that might hit close to home for a few of you. Technology. Yeah, I know. It's everywhere. And it can feel overwhelming. Phones, tablets, smart TVs that act more like confused robots than helpful machines. And here's the thing. When your kids see you struggle with that stuff, they sometimes take it as a sign you're out of touch, or worse, that you're losing your edge. But you don't have to become a tech wizard to earn back respect. What matters is your willingness to try. Ask questions. Take notes. Watch a tutorial, even if you have to pause it 5 times just to catch up. The point is, you're engaged, you're learning, you're not giving up. And if they offer to help, great. But instead of letting them do it for you, ask them to walk you through it with you. Say, show me how to do it myself so I don't have to keep asking. That one sentence alone can change the whole tone of the interaction. It turns you from the one being helped into someone learning and growing. That's a shift in power, and it earns respect. Let me be honest with you. As a man who's seen a few seasons pass, it's not easy navigating these moments. We were raised to be the providers, the protectors, the ones people leaned on. And now it can feel like the roles have reversed. Suddenly, people are leaning over us, patting our shoulders like we're fragile. And sure, sometimes the body creaks a little more than it used to. But the mind, the spirit, that's still sharp as ever. So here's the truth. Reclaiming respect doesn't always mean doing something big. Sometimes it's in the way you carry yourself, the way you make eye contact when you speak, the way you say, I've been thinking about this, and here's what I'd like to do. It's in choosing to engage with life, not shrink from it. And it's also in the people you choose to surround yourself with. Because here's the thing, not all disrespect comes from a bad place. A lot of it comes from misunderstanding, fear, maybe even guilt. Your adult kids might not even realize how they're making you feel. But when you start showing up with confidence, when you speak up, make decisions, and ask to be taught rather than told, they begin to see you differently. And that's when things start to shift. Respect is like a mirror. When you show it to yourself first, others reflect it back. So don't be afraid to set the tone. Now, if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of the game. Because the truth is, most people don't talk about this kind of thing. It's almost like we're supposed to just accept it as part of growing older, being overlooked, overruled, and sometimes outright dismissed. But you didn't come this far in life to just fade into the background. And that brings us to the final point. One of the most powerful ways to restore balance in your relationship with your adult children. Earn respect by showing them your strength in new ways. Now, I'm not talking about lifting heavy furniture or trying to prove something physically. I mean emotional strength, mental clarity, the kind of steady presence that says, I've been through storms, I've weathered them, and I'm still standing. See, your kids might remember the version of you that packed lunches, fixed leaky faucets, paid the bills, and got up early to go to work no matter how tired you were. But now, they see you retired, maybe slowing down a bit, taking your time. And that's fine. You've earned it. But that shift sometimes makes them forget just how capable you still are. That's why, every now and then, it helps to surprise them. Tell them a story they've never heard before, something from your younger years, something that shows them how you handled a crisis, stood up for someone, or made a tough decision. Not to brag, not to preach, just to remind them. There's wisdom sitting across the table from them. And it's not coming from a book or a podcast. It's coming from you. Better yet, share your opinions on what's happening in the world. Things you read, noticed, observed. Show them that your mind is still sharp. You don't have to argue or prove you're right. Just speak with calm conviction. That's more powerful than any debate. And let's not forget, being respected also comes from the life you're building outside of your role as a parent. Do you have hobbies, friendships, places you go that light you up inside? If not, maybe it's time to bring some of that back. When your kids see that you have a full, independent life, one where you're not waiting around for their calls or invitations, they start to treat you less like someone who needs managing and more like someone they're lucky to know. Think about it. When was the last time you did something just for you? Took yourself out to lunch, joined a class, a club, a community? I know it's easy to say, I don't have time, or I don't feel like it. But every step you take toward living a fuller life, whether it's a walk in the park or a project you've always wanted to try, sends a silent message to your children. I'm still living, still learning, still growing. That kind of quiet confidence is magnetic. It draws people in. And it reminds them this isn't someone to coddle. This is someone to admire. Let's take a moment here. You've done a lot. You've raised children who became adults, who are out in the world doing their best. That's no small thing. And yes, maybe now they're treating you in a way that doesn't always feel fair. But the story isn't over. Not by a long shot. You have the power to change the tone of those relationships. It starts small, through boundaries, clear communication, standing up when needed, and showing them what respect looks like by how you carry yourself. You don't need to fight for it. You just need to live it. And when they see you doing that, really living your life on your terms, they'll notice. Maybe not right away, but over time, the tone will change. You'll stop hearing that patronizing edge. You'll see them pause and ask your opinion, genuinely wanting to hear it. You'll feel the shift, even in the little things. The way they speak to you, the way they listen, the way they look at you with just a bit more reverence. That's the respect you've earned. Not just from being their parent, but from being a person who continues to grow, evolve, and lead by quiet example. So don't let anyone shrink your world. Keep expanding. Keep speaking up. Keep showing up as the strong, steady, wise soul you are. Your life isn't winding down. It's just moving into a new season. And that season still has so much to offer. If any of this has resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Share your story. You never know who it might inspire. And if you found this helpful, give the video a like And make sure to subscribe, because there's so much more we're going to talk about together. Here's to living with dignity, strength, and purpose at every age.